The washing machine's spin cycle sounds like thunder trapped in metal. At least, that's what Rosie imagines it sounds like. She can't hear it anymore, hasn't been able to for 3 years, but she can feel it. The vibrations travel up through the laundry room's tile floor, into her work boots, rattling her bones with a rhythm that's almost musical. She places both palms flat against the industrial machine's side, closes her eyes, and lets the frequency move through her fingertips. She doesn't notice the small figure in the doorway. 7-year-old Ivy Lee stands perfectly still, watching this strange new housekeeper do something no one else in the silent Connecticut estate has done in 2 years. Touch things like they're alive. The child takes one step closer, then another. Her bare feet register what her ears never have. The floor is humming. 3 days ago, Rosie arrived at this 17-room mansion desperate for work, any work after losing everything to medical bills. She expected to clean toilets and stay invisible. She didn't expect to find a household entombed in grief, or a deaf child who'd stopped communicating with the world, or a glass case on the terrace containing a violin no one dared to touch. The last instrument played by the girl's mother before she died. But here, in this moment, something shifts. Ivy's hand rises, trembling, reaching toward the machine that shakes the ground beneath them both. Rosie opens her eyes and sees her. Stay with us to witness how a billionaire's daughter, born into a world of silence, imprisoned by grief, learns that her mother's music never left. It was simply waiting for someone brave enough to help her feel it. Kim Lee's reflection stares back at him from the floor-to-ceiling window of his home office, a ghost superimposed over the Connecticut morning. Behind the ghost, his business partner's voice crackles through the laptop speakers, listing quarterly projections that Kim should care about, but doesn't. His attention belongs to the terrace below. Ivy sits cross-legged before the glass display case, her dark hair pulled into the same careful braid Mrs. Dawson does every morning at 7:15. She's been there since 6:47. Kim knows because he's been watching since 6:47. 2 years of watching. 2 years of his daughter sitting motionless before her mother's violin like a pilgrim before a shrine. Kim, you still there? He tears his gaze away. Sorry, David. What were you saying about the Singapore contract? But David's moved on to staffing issues, something about the AI communication tools division. The irony isn't lost on Kim that his company specializes in bridging communication gaps while he can't reach his own child. They've lost another ASL interpreter. Ivy refused to sign anything beyond hungry, tired bathroom. 3 words to contain an entire existence. The house operates in manufactured silence. Staff communicates via notes left on the Kit Lee counter, thick. Carpets muffle every footstep. Even the grandfather clock in the entrance hall stands frozen at 3:17, the time they got the call about Isabel's accident. Kim told himself he'd fix it eventually, but eventually became never. And now the stopped clock is another monument to everything that ended that afternoon. She needs consistency, David is saying. David, whose wife is alive, whose children are whole. Maybe it's time to consider, I have to go. Kim closes the laptop without waiting for a response. Through the window, Ivy hasn't moved. She never moves. She just stares at that violin behind glass, and Kim doesn't know if she's remembering or forgetting, grieving or going numb. He can't ask her. Every interpreter he hires eventually breaks under the weight of her silence, and Kim is too afraid to push, too terrified that if he forces her to feel anything, she'll shatter completely. His phone buzzes. Mrs. Dawson, new housekeeper arriving at noon, will brief on protocols. Kim checks his watch, 9:02. He should return calls, review contracts, pretend his empire requires his attention. Instead, he stands at the window, watching his daughter not move, the way he's watched her not move every morning for 730 days. A car appears on the circular driveway. Too early. Kim frowns. The new housekeeper isn't due for 3 more hours. But a woman emerges, mid-40s maybe, wearing jeans and a faded jacket that's seen better years. She pauses beside her battered Honda, looking up at the estate with an expression Kim recognizes. Someone trying not to be intimidated by wealth, trying not to let desperation show. She's early because she couldn't sleep. Because this job matters. Because she's hanging on by her fingernails just like everyone else, no matter what his bank balance suggests about the world's fundamental fairness. Kim watches her square her shoulders and walk toward the service entrance. Another employee. Another person who'll try and fail to reach Ivy, who'll eventually leave because working in a mausoleum wears down even the most patient souls. On the terrace, Ivy remains motionless before the glass case, and the stopped clock in the entrance hall doesn't tick, and the silence that Kim built to protect his daughter continues to suffocate them both. The doorbell rings, muted and distant. Something is about to change. Kim doesn't know this yet. He's still watching Ivy, still trapped behind his own glass. Rosie Martinez arrived 3 hours early because lying awake in her cousin's spare room, staring at water stains on the ceiling, felt more suffocating than facing whatever came next. This job, this last job before admitting defeat and moving to Florida, deserves her best effort, even if her best has been questionable lately. The woman who answers the service entrance looks like she's defended this household against invading armies. 60-ish, steel gray hair in a bun tight enough to cause headaches, expression calibrated. Somewhere between skeptical and resigned. "You're early." Not a question, an accusation. "I'm punctual," Rosie signs and speaks simultaneously, a habit from back when she still thought she could pass as hearing if she tried hard enough. Her voice sounds strange to her now, disconnected from her body. She clears her throat. "I'm Rosie Martinez, the new... I know who you are." Mrs. Dawson, has to be Mrs. Dawson, the head housekeeper Kim Lee's assistant mentioned, steps aside with obvious reluctance. "I suppose you'd better come in." The house swallows Rosie whole. 17 rooms, she'd been told, but the number didn't prepare her for the reality. Soaring ceilings, art that probably costs more than her entire life, furniture arranged like museum displays, everything perfect, everything sterile, everything silent. Mrs. Dawson's lips move. Rosie catches. "Absolute quiet. Approach Ivy directly. Interpreter Miss Stevens. Never touch..." "Sorry, could you..." Rosie gestures to her ears, to her hearing aids. "Could you face me when you speak? I need to read your lips." Mrs. Dawson's mouth tightens, but she complies, starting over with exaggerated slowness that makes Rosie's jaw clench. The rules: absolute quiet, Mr. Lee's request. Never approach Ivy directly. All communication with the child goes through Miss Stevens, the interpreter. Never. And Mrs. Dawson's emphasis suggests eternal damnation awaits violators. Touch anything in Mrs. Lee's music room. They tour the house. Rosie notices what Mrs. Dawson doesn't mention: photographs turned face down on side tables, a woman's reading glasses left on a bookshelf like she might return for them, fresh flowers in a bedroom no one enters. Isabel's belongings haven't been packed away. They've been preserved, transformed into relics. Except the violin. That's been imprisoned in glass on the terrace, visible but untouchable. "Questions?" Mrs. Dawson asks. 1,000. Rosie swallows them all. "No, ma'am." She's assigned to the main hallway, dusting baseboards that don't need dusting in a house where silence has become religion. Her hearing aids pick up almost nothing, just the whisper of her cloth against wood, the occasional creak of old construction. She wonders if the house was always this quiet, or if grief muted it. Her left hearing aid squeals, feedback, the particular hell of her existence. Rosie straightens, pulling both aids out to adjust them. Her fingers fumble. One aid slips, hits the hardwood floor, bounces. She lunges for it, elbow catching the decorative vase on the hall table. The crash shatters the silence like a bomb. Rosie drops to her knees, gathering pieces, cursing in Spanish under her breath, and sees small bare feet at the edge of her vision. She looks up. The girl, Ivy, stands frozen, eyes wide. She's smaller than Rosie expected, delicate like her mother probably was, with her father's analytical intensity and the way she watches Rosie's hands move through the broken glass. A woman rushes into the hallway, Miss Stevens signing frantically. "Are you hurt? What happened? Mr. Lee will..." But Ivy isn't looking at the interpreter. She's watching Rosie's mouth, reading her lips with the hunger of someone starving for connection. Rosie signs without thinking. "I'm sorry." Ivy's eyes widen further. Then she turns and runs, disappearing into the house's maze of rooms. Miss Stevens' lips move in what's clearly a reprimand. Rosie catches fragments. "Never protocol. Mrs. Dawson will..." Rosie nods, accepting blame, but her mind is elsewhere. In that moment before Ivy ran, Rosie saw something flicker across the child's face. Not fear, not anger, Recognition. Rosie shouldn't be here. The staff stairwell is poorly lit. Her footsteps echo too loudly on the hardwood, despite her caution. And if Mrs. Dawson catches her in Ivy's wing after explicit orders to stay away, she'll be fired before morning. But the sandwich feels warm in her hands. Turkey and cheese, nothing fancy, wrapped in a napkin. And Rosie learned long ago that some rules exist to be broken. Ivy's door is cracked open. Rosie pushes it wider, revealing a room that looks like it belongs in a hotel. Perfectly decorated, perfectly impersonal, perfectly empty of the chaos that 7-year-olds should create. Ivy lies on her bed, fully dressed, staring at the ceiling with the stillness of someone who's forgotten how to move. Rosie doesn't knock. Knocking is pointless. Instead, she walks to the side of the bed and sets the sandwich on the nightstand where Ivy can see it. The girl's eyes shift, register Rosie's presence, return to the ceiling. Eat, Rosie signs. Nothing. Rosie sits on the floor, her back against the bed frame. She can feel Ivy's weight on the mattress above her, feel the subtle shift as the child tenses. Good. Tension means awareness. Awareness means not completely gone. She places her palm flat on the hardwood floor. Then, deliberately, she lifts her foot and stops. The vibration travels through the floor, up through the bed frame. Ivy's hand twitches. Rosie does it again. Stomp. A pause. Stomp, 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 stomp. A rhythm. Nothing complex, just a heartbeat pattern, the kind that exists in every body, the kind that says, I'm alive, you're alive, we're here together. Above her, Ivy sits up. Rosie keeps her eyes forward, pretending she doesn't notice. She continues the pattern, adding variation. Stomp, 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 stomp. The floor becomes a drum. Her foot the mallet, the vibrations spreading outward like ripples in water. Small, bare feet appear in her peripheral vision. Ivy slides off the bed, crouches on the floor, places both palms flat on the hardwood. Rosie changes the pattern. Faster, slower, a question mark rhythm. Stomp, 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 stomp. Ivy's hands press harder against the floor, chasing the vibrations. Her mouth opens slightly. Not speaking, just responding to sensation with the unconscious physicality of someone, discovering language. Rosie stops stomping. She reaches for Ivy's hand and the girl doesn't pull away. A small miracle. Rosie places that small hand against her own throat, then begins to hum. The vibration moves from Rosie's vocal cords, through her skin, into Ivy's palm. It's not sound, not to Ivy. It's texture. Frequency, the physical manifestation of emotion. Rosie hums a melody Isabel might have played, something simple and aching, and watches Ivy's face transform. Wonder. That's what floods the child's expression, pure, unguarded wonder. For the first time in months, Ivy signs a complete question. What is that? Rosie signs back. Music, your mother's language. It never left. Ivy's eyes fill with tears, but before either can say more, the overhead light flashes on. Miss Stevens stands in the doorway, face flushed, hands moving in rapid, angry signs. Inappropriate. Protocol. Mr. Lee will hear about this. Rosie stands slowly, nods acceptance of whatever consequences are coming. But as she moves toward the door, she feels a small hand grab her wrist. Ivy holds on for 3 seconds. 3 seconds of connection, of thank you, of please don't go, of I felt something. Then she releases, and Rosie leaves, and the door closes behind her. 20 minutes later, Mrs. Dawson delivers the reprimand in the Kit Lee, her lips moving in sharp clipped sentences about boundaries and employment terms. Rosie nods through it all, accepts the reassignment to laundry and Kit Lee duties only, agrees to stay away from Miss Ivy. But the next morning, when Rosie arrives at the laundry room at 8 o'clock, Ivy is standing in the hallway outside it, waiting. The girl who never seeks out rooms or people is standing outside the laundry room, waiting for the woman who makes the floors hum. Rosie pretends not to notice immediately. She unlocks the door, enters, begins sorting whites from colors. Through the doorway, she can see Ivy's shadow, motionless but present. The industrial washing machine sits against the far wall, large and powerful. Rosie loads it, adds detergent, sets it to the heavy cycle. Then she places both palms on its metal side and closes her eyes. The machine begins its work, and Ivy, watching from the threshold, takes her first step forward. By Wednesday, Ivy has established her own protocol. She arrives at the laundry room during the 9:30 wash cycle, stands precisely 6 feet from the doorway, and watches Rosie work. She never enters fully. She never signs. She just watches with the intensity of someone memorizing survival instructions. Rosie pretends this is normal. She sorts laundry, folds towels, maintains the comfortable fiction that she doesn't notice the small figure hovering at the threshold. But she times everything around that 9:30 cycle, ensuring the industrial machine is always running when Ivy arrives. Wednesday morning, during the spin cycle, Rosie does something new. She places both hands on the washing machine and sways slightly, letting her body move to the rhythm of the unbalanced load. The machine rocks, thumps, vibrates with aggressive energy, and Rosie moves with it like she's dancing to music only she can feel. Because she is. Ivy inches closer, 5 feet from the doorway, 4 feet. Rosie, eyes still closed, extends one hand in casual invitation, not demanding, not forcing, just offering. 3 feet, 2 feet. Ivy crosses the threshold. Rosie keeps swaying, keeps her eyes closed, gives the child space to decide. She feels rather than sees Ivy approach the machine, feels the shift in air pressure when small hands touch the metal surface. Ivy gasps, an actual sound, rare and precious as diamonds. Her hands press flat against the machine, chasing vibrations that travel through metal into bone, spreading through her entire body. Her eyes widen, her mouth opens, and for 30 seconds, she stands frozen in discovery. Then she starts to smile. For 30 minutes, they stand together. Rosie switches between cycles, showing Ivy the different signatures, the gentle swish of the wash cycle, the aggressive rumble of spin, the rhythmic thump, thump, thump of an unbalanced load. She signs the words, rhythm, bass, tempo, though she suspects Ivy doesn't need language for what she's experiencing. This is pre-verbal, visceral, the kind of knowing that exists in bodies before minds translate it into meaning. When the cycle ends, Ivy doesn't run. She looks at Rosie and signs, again? Rosie shakes her head. Tomorrow, she signs back, same time. Ivy nods, solemn as a monk accepting sacred instruction, and leaves. That evening at dinner, something unprecedented happens. Ivy comes downstairs. She doesn't sit at the table. That's too much, too soon. But she sits on the window seat near the dining room, eating the plate Mrs. Dawson prepared, close enough to observe the family ritual she's been avoiding. Kim, seated at the head of the table with financial reports he's pretending to read, watches his daughter with barely concealed astonishment. After dinner, he finds Mrs. Dawson in the Kit Lee. What changed? His voice carries that particular tone of desperate hope he's been suppressing for 2 years. Mrs. Dawson wipes down the counter with more force than necessary. The new maid, she admits, the words clearly costing her. Miss Ivy's been spending time near the laundry room. The laundry room? The washing machine, specifically. Mrs. Dawson's mouth purses. I don't pretend to understand it, Mr. Lee, but Miss Ivy waited outside that room this morning. She never waits anywhere. Kim returns to his office, but he doesn't work. He stands at the window, watching the terrace where Ivy has returned to her usual position before the glass case. But something's different. Her stillness has changed quality. Less frozen, more resting. Less absence, more presence. He decides to observe before intervening. If a washing machine has reached his daughter where grief counselors and ASL specialists failed, then logic can wait. Hope, however fragile, deserves room to breathe. Thursday morning, Kim manufactures a reason to walk past the laundry room at 9:30. Through the doorway, he sees them, Rosie and Ivy, hands on the machine, bodies swaying slightly, connected by vibration and patience. His daughter is moving. After 2 years of stillness, Ivy is moving. Kim retreats to his office and weeps quietly, his face in his hands, grief and gratitude tangled too tightly to separate. Kim returns Thursday afternoon with his tie loosened and his composure frayed. The board meeting went worse than expected. They voted to defund one of Isabel's charitable music programs, the one she'd built for underprivileged children. Cost-benefit analysis, they called it. Kim called it betrayal, though only in his head where opinions don't require quarterly reports. He finds Ivy in the library with Rosie, both of them feeling the vibrations of a cello concerto through the hardwood table. His daughter looks more animated than she has in 24 months. The realization hits him like physics. He's been preserving his wife's memory by entombing it. "I need to show you something," he says to Ivy, his signs still clumsy but improving. They walk together to Isabel's music room. Kim hasn't entered since the funeral. He unlocks the door. Mrs. Dawson protested giving him his own key to his own house, but eventually surrendered it and pushes it open. The room exhales 2 years of stale air. Performance posters line the walls. Sheet music covers the piano. Photographs freeze Isabel mid-bow, mid-laugh, mid-life. It's a shrine, Kim realizes, a beautiful, suffocating shrine. Ivy steps inside slowly, touching nothing. Her eyes move from surface to surface, cataloging her mother's artifacts. Then her hands drop to her sides and she goes still, that terrible stillness Kim thought they'd moved past. "Too much?" Rosie signs from the doorway. "Too much," Kim agrees. That evening, after Ivy retreats to her room without dinner, Rosie finds Kim staring at Isabel's violin through its glass prison on the terrace. "I have an idea," she signs, "but you're not going to like it." 20 minutes later, they're back in the music room with Ivy, who came reluctantly, and the Bluetooth speaker, which Rosie places on the piano. She scrolls through her phone, Isabel's recordings, the ones Kim sent to the household shared folder but couldn't bear to play. She selects a piece, something lyrical, something that sounds like Isabel felt, complex and aching and full of life. "Don't listen," Rosie signs to Ivy. "Feel." She removes the violin from its case. Kim's breath catches. No one has touched it since Isabel's final performance. But he doesn't stop her. Can't stop her. This is why he brought Rosie here, isn't it? To break what he couldn't? Rosie places the violin in Ivy's arms. The instrument's wooden body becomes a conduit. The recording plays. Isabel's bow, Isabel's fingers, Isabel's interpretation of Mozart, and the violin remembers. It vibrates with muscle memory, transmitting its history directly into Ivy's chest, her arms, her bones. Ivy's face crumples. She clutches the violin like it's her mother's body, like she can hold her here through sheer force of need. The sobs come violently, 2 years of damned grief finally breaching. "Mama is still singing," she signs through tears, the violin cradled against her heart. "I can feel her." Kim drops to his knees beside his daughter. Rosie quietly leaves, closing the door on their private mourning. Father and daughter sit on the floor of the music room, holding the violin between them, feeling Isabel's ghost play through wood and wire and memory. The recording ends and starts again, a loop of resurrection. "She wouldn't want us to keep her behind glass," Ivy signs eventually. "No," Kim agrees, signing with one hand, the other resting on the violin's curve. "She wouldn't." Outside, the terrace stands empty. The glass case that held the violin for 2 years reflects only moonlight now, its contents finally freed. Friday morning arrives with Kim canceling all his meetings. His assistant sounds alarmed. Kim Lee doesn't cancel board meetings, doesn't miss investor calls, doesn't choose anything over the company he built from code and caffeine. "Family emergency," he tells her, which isn't quite true. Family resurrection, maybe. He finds Rosie and the Kit Lee making breakfast. "Teach me," he signs. "Teach me how Ivy experiences the world." So begins 5 days of education. Saturday. Kim learns that Ivy knows he's anxious before he enters a room because his footsteps hit the floor differently when his shoulders are tense. She reads his moods through percussion, through the way doors close, through how forcefully he sets down his coffee cup. "You're always loud with worry," Ivy signs, demonstrating by stomping heavily across the Kit Lee. Like this, boom, boom, boom. Kim had no idea he was so transparent. Sunday. They explore the estate's acoustic geography. Rosie shows Kim how different surfaces transmit different frequencies. Marble carries high notes cleanly. Wood resonates with bass. The leather couch in his office absorbs sound almost completely, which explains why Ivy never wants to sit there. She probably feels isolated when she's on it, Rosie explains, cut off from the room's vibrations. Monday, Kim practices the vocabulary of touch. Rosie teaches him to tap patterns on Ivy's shoulder. 3 quick taps mean, I love you. 4 mean, come here. 5 mean, are you okay? They develop a private language, simple and profound. Ivy beams when Kim taps their new code correctly. 3 taps, I love you. She taps back, I love you too. Tuesday, the house transforms. Kim orders speakers placed throughout, not for sound, but for vibration. Music plays constantly now, and Ivy moves through rooms feeling each space's unique character. Beethoven in the library, jazz in the Kit Lee, her mother's recordings in the music room, which is no longer sealed but open, alive. Wednesday, Ivy attempts vocalization. She places her hand on Rosie's throat, feels the vibration of speech, then tries to match it with her own voice. The sounds she produces are strange, unpracticed, but intentional. Dada, she says, not clearly, not beautifully, but unmistakably. Kim weeps. He's been waiting 2 years to hear her voice, and now it's here, rough and imperfect, and absolutely his daughter. That evening, Rosie establishes a new ritual. Every night before bed, they'll listen to one of Isabel's recordings together. Not as mourning, but as connection. Not as preservation, but as continuation. They lie on the music room floor, Kim, Ivy, and Rosie, hands on speakers, feeling Isabel's violin speak through their bodies. Ivy draws what she feels, swooping blue lines for the melody, sharp red angles for the staccato passages, gentle purple waves for the quiet moments. Kim watches his daughter translate music into art, grief into creation, loss into something resembling joy. He's falling in love, he realizes, not romantically, not inappropriately, but deeply. Falling in love with the possibility that families can be rebuilt in unexpected shapes, that healing doesn't require forgetting, that the best way to honor the dead is by learning to live. Wednesday morning announces itself with the crunch of expensive tires on gravel. Kim looks up from his laptop to see the silver Mercedes gliding up the circular drive like a shark circling prey. He checks his calendar. No, they're not scheduled until Friday. Richard and Catherine Beaumont arrive when they choose to arrive. Mrs. Dawson rushes to prepare the guest rooms. Rosie, folding laundry in the Kit Lee, watches through the window as 2 elegant figures emerge. Catherine in a cream suit that probably costs more than Rosie's yearly salary. Richard in tailored charcoal with silver at his temples. Old money. The kind that doesn't announce itself because it assumes everyone already knows. Kim meets them in the foyer. Catherine's embrace is brief, perfunctory. You look thin, she observes, as if his grief has been poor time management. Where's Ivy? Richard asks, scanning the hall. Library, with her companion. Catherine's eyebrow arches. Companion? They find Ivy and Rosie at the library table, hands pressed against the wood while a Bluetooth speaker plays Dvořák's cello concerto. Ivy's eyes are closed, her body swaying slightly. Rosie signs something, and Ivy nods, adjusting her position to feel different frequencies. Catherine's voice cuts through like glass. What is this? Ivy's eyes snap open. The music continues, but she's gone still. That terrible stillness Kim thought they'd moved past. This is Rosie Martinez, Kim signs and speaks simultaneously. Ivy's companion. She's been helping Ivy experience music through vibration. Experience music. Catherine tastes the words like something spoiled. Darling, this woman is a housekeeper. I'm also deaf, Rosie signs, her face carefully neutral. I understand what Ivy's going through. Understanding and professional qualification are quite different things. Richard's tone is measured, reasonable, which somehow makes it worse. Kim, surely you see the concern. Ivy should be in a structured educational environment with credentialed therapists, not experimenting with household staff. Catherine approaches Ivy, whose hands have curled into fists. Sweetheart, we've been so worried. Your grandfather and I think you'd love the Beaumont Academy. Remember when we visited? All those children learning together, proper teachers who understand your needs. Ivy's hands move suddenly, forcefully. I don't want quiet school with quiet children. Of course you're confused, darling. You're only 7. I'm not confused. Ivy's signs are angry now, her body rigid. Rosie teaches me Mama's language. You want me to forget Mama? The accusation hangs in the air like smoke. Catherine's composure cracks. We want you safe. We want you educated. We want, her voice breaks. We want what's best for you because your mother can't. Ivy turns away, arms crossed, shutting them all out. That evening, after a dinner where Ivy refused to join the table and conversation died in uncomfortable silences, Richard presents Kim with a folder. Legal documents, petition for custody evaluation, affidavits from educational specialists, a case built with surgical precision. "We hoped it wouldn't come to this," Richard says, "but you've left us no choice." "No choice?" Kim's control fractures. "She's my daughter. Then act like her father." Catherine's words are sharp, not like a man so paralyzed by grief he's let a housekeeper play therapist with a traumatized child. After they retire to the guest wing, Kim finds Ivy standing outside Rosie's door. Her face is tear-streaked, her hands trembling. "If Rosie goes," she signs, "I go back to the quiet. Forever." Kim kneels before his daughter, taking her hands in his. 3 taps. "I love you." She doesn't tap back. Saturday morning arrives with the weight of judgment. Dr. Patricia Hendricks, the child psychologist hired by the Beaumonts, sets up in the library with the clinical efficiency of someone who's evaluated hundreds of custody situations and found them all wanting in different ways. Kim watches from the hallway as Dr. Hendricks attempts to engage Ivy, who sits motionless in her chair, hands folded, eyes fixed on the middle distance. The psychologist's signs are technically correct, but lack warmth, each gesture a checkbox on an invisible form. "Can you tell me about your daily routine?" Dr. Hendricks asks. "Nothing." "Do you enjoy spending time with Miss Martinez?" Silence. "Are you happy at home?" Ivy's face remains blank, perfectly still. She's retreated to that place Kim thought they'd lost access to, the fortress of non-communication where nothing can hurt her because nothing can reach her. Dr. Hendricks makes notes. Kim can imagine what they say: regression, selective mutism. Inappropriate attachment to unqualified caregiver has created dependency rather than development. The evaluation continues through lunch, which Ivy refuses to eat, through the afternoon, where she sits in her room staring at nothing, through dinner, which she doesn't attend. That evening, Dr. Hendricks delivers her preliminary assessment to both families in Kim's study. The Beaumonts sit composed and attentive. Kim feels like he's watching his life be dismantled by someone with excellent credentials and no imagination. "My concern," Dr. Hendricks says, "is that the current arrangement lacks professional oversight and structured intervention. While Miss Martinez's intentions may be good, Ivy requires evidence-based therapeutic approaches delivered by licensed specialists. The Beaumont Academy offers exactly that environment." "She was getting better," Kim says. His voice sounds desperate even to himself. "She was communicating, vocalizing, engaging." "Temporary improvements don't indicate sustainable progress, Mr. Lee. Today's regression demonstrates how fragile this situation is. Ivy needs stability, not experimentation." Catherine leans forward. "We only want what Isabel would have wanted: proper education, professional care, a chance for Ivy to thrive." After they leave, after promises of court dates and custody hearings and best interests of the child, Kim sits in the dark study, head in his hands. His phone buzzes with messages from his attorney. "This isn't looking good. We need to prepare a strong case. Consider hiring your own expert witnesses." A soft knock. Rosie enters, her face drawn. "I'll resign," she signs. "If it helps, I'll leave tonight. I'm not worth losing your daughter over." "No." Kim's signs are emphatic. "You're not the problem. I am. I spent 2 years building a tomb instead of a home. You're the one who brought her back to life." "Then we fight," Rosie signs. "Together." They find Ivy in her room, curled on her bed. Kim sits on one side, Rosie on the other. Neither touches her, just sits in solidarity with her grief. Finally, Ivy sits up. Her hands move slowly, deliberately. "If they take me away, will Mama's music stop?" "Never," Kim signs. "Your mother's music is in you. No one can take that." Ivy looks between them, her father, exhausted and terrified, Rosie, fierce despite her fear, and something shifts in her expression. She reaches into her nightstand and pulls out paper and pencil. She writes carefully, her 7-year-old handwriting determined. "Tell the judge I need to show him what I learned." Kim reads it twice. "Show him?" Ivy nods. Her hands move with more conviction than he's seen in days. "I can make them understand if they feel it like I do." "That's Actually brilliant, Rosie signs. If we can arrange it. Kim looks at his daughter, small, traumatized but suddenly strategic, and realizes she's inherited more than Isabel's musical gift. She's got his analytical mind too. He picks up his phone and calls his attorney. David, I need you to arrange something unusual. Monday morning brings David Rothstein to the estate with a leather briefcase and uncomfortable truths. Kim meets him in the library where Rosie and Ivy are cataloging vibration drawings, evidence they hope will matter. I won't sugarcoat this, David says, settling into the chair Kim offers. His signs are competent, functional. Judges favor established institutions, especially when grandparents have the resources the Beaumonts do. Your unconventional approach is legally vulnerable. It's working, Kim says. The desperation in his voice embarrasses him. Working isn't enough. You need to prove it's superior to what they're offering. The Beaumont Academy is legitimate, accredited, respected, funded. You're offering... David gestures vaguely toward Ivy and Rosie on the floor. Feeling washing machines. Rosie looks up, signs sharp. Vibrotactile music therapy. It has a name. Does it have research, published studies, clinical trials? David's expression isn't unkind, just realistic. Because they'll have experts testifying that proper deaf education requires trained professionals, not housekeepers with good intentions. The word housekeeper lands like a slap. Rosie's jaw tightens, but she doesn't respond. Kim watches his daughter trace purple waves in her journal. Her mother's violin felt through memory. What do we need? Credibility, documentation, expert testimony. David ticks items on his fingers. Proof that Ivy's progress is measurable, replicable, and supervised by qualified professionals. I'm not qualified. Rosie's signs are controlled fury. Not in a courtroom. I'm sorry, but that's reality. That afternoon, Rosie makes a call she's been avoiding for 3 years. Her former supervisor at the audio engineering firm, Tom, sounds genuinely glad to hear from her. When she explains what she needs, he doesn't hesitate. Dr. Yuki Tanaka, he says. She's doing exactly what you're describing. Vibrotactile therapy for deaf kids. Been trying to get funding for clinical applications. If you've been implementing her research intuitively, she'll want to know. Dr. Tanaka arrives Tuesday morning. A whirlwind of energy and sign language so fluid it makes Kim's attempts look arthritic. She's Japanese-American, early 50s, with hearing aids and zero patience for bureaucracy. Show me everything, she signs to Rosie after the briefest introductions. For 3 hours, Rosie demonstrates the washing machine symphony, the floor vibrations, the speaker placements, Ivy's journal, the violin sessions. Dr. Tanaka observes, asks questions, takes notes with the intensity of someone discovering gold. This is remarkable, she signs finally. You're doing what I've been theorizing for a decade. How did you? I was a sound engineer. I understand frequencies. Rosie's signs are defensive. I lost my hearing. I understand isolation. You understand what Ivy needs. Dr. Tanaka turns to Kim. I'll testify, but we need to document everything properly. Baseline assessments, progress measurements, formal protocols. They work until midnight Wednesday, building the case. Dr. Tanaka evaluates Ivy with games that feel like play, but measures sophisticated concepts, frequency discrimination, rhythm reproduction, emotional recognition through vibration. Ivy performs brilliantly, her 7-year-old face serious with concentration. Her vibrational sensitivity is extraordinary, Dr. Tanaka tells Kim privately. But more important, she's engaged. She wants to learn. That's what 2 years of professional intervention couldn't achieve. Wednesday night, after Dr. Tanaka leaves, Kim finds Rosie on the terrace where Ivy used to sit before the empty violin case. I'm going to ask you something, he signs, and I need you to think before answering. Rosie waits. If we win, when we win, I want to formalize this, not just keeping you as Ivy's companion, making you her legal co-guardian. His signs are careful, precise. Building something bigger. A center, a program, Isabel's legacy, but forward-facing. Rosie's eyes fill. She signs. I'm not trying to replace her. I know, you're helping me honor her. Kim's own vision blurs. Will you think about it? She nods. On the terrace where grief once imprisoned his daughter, possibility waits like spring. Thursday morning, Dr. Raymond Shaw arrives with clipboards and skepticism. Court-appointed, credentials impeccable, expression neutral. He's seen every custody battle, heard every claim of what's best for the child. Kim watches from the hallway as Shaw observes breakfast. Ivy sits with Rosie, both eating while music plays through the table, a speaker underneath transmitting Vivaldi through wood grain. Ivy's hand rests casually on the surface, her body swaying slightly. She looks happy. Kim prays that matters. Shaw interviews Kim first. Why should an uneducated employee have this much influence over your daughter's development? Because she reached Ivy when no one else could. Kim keeps his voice level. My daughter was dying, not physically, but dying. Rosie brought her back. Through unconventional methods that lack scientific validation. Dr. Tanaka's research is emerging, not established. Shaw makes notes. The Beaumont Academy has decades of proven outcomes. Why risk experimentation when proven methods exist? Because proven methods failed her. But Kim doesn't say it. He can see how it would sound. Desperate, dismissive of expertise, the arrogance of wealth assuming it knows better. Shaw interviews Rosie next. What are your formal qualifications for therapeutic work with traumatized deaf children? None. Rosie's signs are steady. I have engineering knowledge of acoustics and vibration. I have lived experience of hearing loss. I have patience and love for that little girl. Love isn't a credential. No, but it's what she needed most. Shaw's expression doesn't change. He makes more notes. The critical moment comes when Shaw asks to interview Ivy alone. Standard protocol, without parental or caregiver influence. Kim nods, though everything in him screams to refuse. Rosie squeezes his arm, trusts her, and leaves with him. They wait in the Kit Lee. 20 minutes, 30. Mrs. Dawson makes tea, nobody drinks. When Shaw emerges, his face is carefully blank. She's shut down completely, non-responsive. Kim's stomach drops. This demonstrates my concern, Shaw continues. Excessive attachment to Miss Martinez has created dependency rather than independence. When faced with new adults, she regresses. That evening, Shaw delivers his preliminary assessment in Kim's study. The Beaumonts attend via video conference, Catherine's satisfaction barely concealed. My recommendation will be the Beaumont Academy, Shaw says. Ivy requires professional intervention in a structured environment. The current arrangement, while well-intentioned, lacks the oversight and credentials necessary for her complex needs. After Shaw leaves, Kim sits in the dark study, head in his hands. 2 years of silence, 2 months of hope. Now this. A sound at the door. Ivy enters, holding a piece of paper. She walks to Kim's desk and sets it down. He reads it by lamplight, her 7-year-old handwriting, careful and determined. Tell the judge I need to show him what I learned. Kim looks up at his daughter. Show him? Ivy's signs are certain. Words aren't enough. He needs to feel it like I do. Behind her, Rosie appears in the doorway. She's right. Kim reads the note again. His daughter, small, traumatized, 7 years old, has become strategic. Isabel's artistic spirit, his analytical mind, and something entirely her own, courage. He picks up his phone and calls David. I need you to arrange something unusual, he says. An emergency hearing, and Judge Moreno needs to be willing to let a child demonstrate rather than just testify. David is silent for a long moment, then, this is either brilliant or insane. It's both, Kim agrees, which means it's the only chance we have. Saturday morning in Judge Patricia Moreno's chambers feels nothing like a courtroom. The wooden table gleams under soft lighting. An interpreter stands ready. Kim sits with his attorney, hands clasped so tightly his knuckles have gone white. The Beaumonts occupy the opposite side with their lawyer, Catherine's cream suit perfect as always, Richard's expression carefully neutral. Ivy enters between Rosie and Dr. Tanaka, carrying her mother's violin case in a canvas bag that clinks softly. She's wearing the blue dress Isabel bought her 3 years ago. Still fits barely. Her face is solemn, determined. Judge Moreno watches from behind the table. She's 63, gray-haired, with eyes that have witnessed every variety of family tragedy. Miss Lee, she signs and speaks simultaneously. Your attorney says you want to demonstrate something rather than answer questions. Ivy nods. She sets the violin case on the table and unpacks her bag, the Bluetooth speaker, her journal of vibration drawings, a photograph of Isabel mid-performance. "May I show you?" Ivy signs to the judge. Judge Moreno's expression softens slightly. "Yes." Ivy places the speaker face down on the wooden table. She scrolls through Rosie's phone, they practice this, and selects one of Isabel's recordings, a violin concerto, something lyrical and aching. The music plays, but more importantly, the table begins to hum. "Put your hand here," Ivy signs to Judge Moreno, indicating the table's surface. The judge complies, her palm flat against wood. Her eyebrows rise slightly as vibrations travel through the table into her hand, music becoming sensation. Ivy opens the violin case. Catherine inhales sharply but doesn't speak. Ivy lifts the instrument carefully, as if it might break, and places it in Judge Moreno's arms. The violin's body resonates with the recording. Isabel playing this same instrument years ago. The judge's expression transforms. She's not just hearing music, she's feeling it as direct physical experience, the instrument alive with memory. "This is how I hear Mama," Ivy signs, through touch, through vibration, through feeling what she felt when she played. She takes the violin back, cradles it against her chest. Then she does something extraordinary. She places her hand on her own throat and attempts to vocalize, matching the vibrations she feels from the violin to sounds she produces. Her voice is unpracticed, strange, but unmistakably musical. She's humming Isabel's melody. "Rosie taught me that music isn't something you lose when you can't hear it," Ivy signs when she stops. "It's something you feel when you're no longer afraid." She opens her journal, showing Judge Moreno the drawings. Purple waves for her mother's violin, spiky red lines for the washing machine, soft blue circles for Rosie's humming. "Grandma and Grandpa want me to learn in a quiet school with other quiet children," Ivy continues. "But Mama wasn't quiet, and I don't want to be quiet anymore." Her hands move faster now, more urgent. "At the Beaumont Academy, they'll teach me to read and write and sign properly, but Rosie teaches me how to feel the world, how to know when Dada is sad before he enters a room, how to understand that being deaf doesn't mean living in silence. It means finding music in different places." She turns to her grandparents. "I know you miss Mama. I miss her too, but keeping me in quiet places won't bring her back. She lived in music. I want to live there too." Catherine's composure finally cracks. Tears slide down her carefully made-up face. Richard takes her hand. Judge Moreno sits back, processing. She looks at the violin, at Ivy's determined face, at the drawings that map emotion onto vibration. "I need to see the research Dr. Tanaka mentioned," she says finally, "and I want to speak with Miss Martinez about her methods." But something in her tone has shifted. Kim recognizes it. The sound of a closed door opening. Judge Moreno's ruling comes 2 days later, delivered in formal chambers with all parties present. Kim hasn't slept. He's drafted 3 versions of what he'll say if they lose Ivy, each one worse than the last. "This case," Judge Moreno begins, "presents a fundamental question. What constitutes appropriate care for a grieving deaf child?" Catherine sits rigidly attentive. Richard's hand rests on her arm. Support or restraint, Kim can't tell. "The Beaumont Academy is an excellent institution with proven outcomes," the judge continues. "Their concern for Ivy's education and therapeutic needs is legitimate and well-founded." Kim's stomach drops. Here it comes. However, Judge Moreno looks directly at Ivy, who sits between Kim and Rosie. "I've also reviewed Dr. Tanaka's research on vibrotactile music therapy and observed its application. More significantly, I've witnessed this child's transformation." She signs as she speaks now, addressing Ivy directly. "You demonstrated something in this chamber that no clinical evaluation captured: agency. You asked to show rather than tell. You took control of your own narrative." Judge Moreno turns to Catherine and Richard. "Your love for your granddaughter is evident. Your resources and expertise are valuable, but love cannot be prescribed through institutional protocols alone." Back to Kim. "Mr. Lee, you made mistakes. Grief paralyzed you. You built silence around your daughter when she needed vibration, but you also recognized when an unconventional solution was working and had the courage to pursue it." Finally, to Rosie. "Miss Martinez, your lack of formal credentials is a legitimate concern. However, your intuitive understanding of acoustics combined with lived experience of hearing loss created something remarkable. not despite your background, but because of it. The ruling, custody remains with Kim, conditional on Ivy's enrollment in a formal educational program that includes deaf education specialists. Rosie must be retained as Ivy's therapeutic companion, with Dr. Tanaka supervising and credentializing her work. The Beaumonts receive regular visitation rights and input into educational decisions. Most surprisingly, I'm ordering the creation of a formal treatment protocol based on Miss Martinez's methods. Mr. Lee will fund its development. Dr. Tanaka will direct it. If successful, it should be available to children beyond this family's resources. Catherine speaks for the first time in 2 days. Could we fund it in Isabel's name? Kim meets her eyes across the table. Something passes between them. Not forgiveness, not yet, but the possibility of building something together. The Isabel Lee Center for Vibrotactile Music Therapy, Richard suggests quietly, if you'd accept our partnership. That evening, Kim finds Ivy and Rosie on the terrace where the empty violin case once stood. They're planning lessons for the first 5 children who'll participate in Dr. Tanaka's pilot program. Will other kids learn to feel music? Ivy signs. Yes, Rosie promises. Kim sits beside them, places his hand on Ivy's shoulder. 3 taps. I love you. She taps back immediately. I love you too. On the terrace where grief once imprisoned his daughter, hope hums like a violin string finally set free. The glass case is gone, donated to a museum. In its place, a wooden bench where anyone brave enough can sit and feel the vibrations of a world that never stopped singing. Inside, Isabel's violin waits in the music room, not behind glass, but in its case, ready for hands that will learn to make it speak again. The silence Kim built to protect his daughter has transformed into something better. A house filled with vibration, with music you don't need ears to hear, with a family reconstituted from grief into grace. 6 months dissolve like sugar in water, sweetening everything they touch. The Lee estate no longer whispers. It hums. 3 rooms on the East Wing have been transformed into the Isabel Lee Center for Vibrotactile Music Therapy, where wooden platforms amplify speaker vibrations and walls display children's drawings of what different frequencies feel like. Spiky reds for drums, flowing blues for violins, sunshine yellows for piano. This Tuesday morning, Ivy leads a session with 2 other children, both younger, both profoundly deaf. She's 8 now. Taller, her movements confident as she guides small hands to the mounted speakers. Rosie supervises from the corner, signing corrections and encouragement, her own hands more assured in this role she's grown into. She's enrolled in a deaf education certification program, attending classes 3 evenings a week while working as the center's lead therapist during the day. Feel here, Ivy signs to a 5-year-old boy named James, placing his palm against the platform as Beethoven's Fifth thunders through the wood. That's called a symphony. It's like thunder with a pattern. James's face transforms, the same wonder Ivy remembers from her first washing machine revelation. Kim watches from the observation window, no longer the distant CEO who managed grief through avoidance. He's here every morning now, learning alongside the children. His company's communication tools division has pivoted to developing new technologies for vibrotactile therapy, turning his professional expertise toward this unexpected mission. The morning session ends. Children scatter to the playroom while Rosie and Ivy document progress, which frequencies each child responds to most strongly, which teaching methods work best. They've become a research team, formal and intuitive combined. Lunch brings the daily gathering Kim insisted on, establishing family meals where everyone sits together. Today, it's Kim, Ivy, Rosie, Dr. Tanaka, who's moved into a cottage on the grounds to direct the center full-time, and 2 graduate students working on vibrotactile therapy research. Conversation flows in mixed sign language and speech, everyone accommodating everyone else naturally. This is what healing looks like, Kim thinks, not the absence of grief, but the integration of loss into a life that continues growing. After lunch, Ivy has her own session. Not therapy anymore, practice. She's learning to play her mother's violin, not by ear, but by feeling vibrations through the instrument's wooden body and matching them to the sounds she produces. Her playing is unpracticed, unpredictable, often off-key. It's also unmistakably music. Rosie sits with her, providing gentle corrections. The vibration you're feeling and the vibration you're making don't match yet. Try again, slower. Ivy adjusts her bow pressure, her tongue between her teeth in concentration. The note comes out clearer this time. She grins. Saturday evening brings the Beaumonts for their monthly visit. The transition took time. Catherine still struggles with accepting that her daughter's legacy lives in this unconventional space, but she comes. She's learning basic sign language through online courses, her aristocratic fingers stumbling through unfamiliar gestures. Richard is easier, his judicial mind convinced by documented results. He's become an advocate, using his connections to secure funding and accreditation for the center. Sunday arrives with its ritual. The family gathers in Isabel's music room, no longer a shrine but a living space where anyone can enter. The glass case sits empty on the terrace, donated to a music museum. In its place, a bench where children from the center can sit and feel the afternoon sun. They lie on the floor together. Kim, Ivy, Rosie, and this week, 2 other children whose parents needed respite. Hands on speakers, eyes closed. Isabel's recording of Tchaikovsky fills the room through vibration. Ivy draws while listening, her journal now containing hundreds of vibration maps. But today she draws something new, her mother playing violin, and beside her, Ivy playing too. Both figures surrounded by waves of color, the music they share across the boundary of death. When the recording ends, Ivy signs to her father. Mama would like that we didn't keep the music locked up. Kim places his hand on her shoulder. 3 taps. I love you, I love you, I love you. She taps back immediately, then adds a 4th, their new addition, Rosie's contribution to their private code. We're home.